Hello and welcome to Delphi Programming Tutorial 1. In this tutorial, we will learn Object Model. I am Abdurrahim of Muminjan. You can see my Twitter and Facebook data. So let's start. What's an object? A class is a data type that encapsulates data and operations on data in a single unit. Before object-oriented programming, data and operations were treated as separate elements. An object is an instance of a class. That is, it's a value whose type is a class. The term object may also refer to a class. So you can begin to understand objects if you understand Pascal records or structures in a C programming language. Records are made of fields that contain data where each field has its own data type. Records make it easy to refer to a collection of varied data elements. Objects are also collections of data elements, but objects, unlike records, contain procedures and functions that operate on their data. These procedures and functions are called methods. An object's data elements are accessed through properties. The properties of many Delphi objects have values that you can change at design time without writing code. If you want to change property value at runtime, you need to write only a small amount of code. The combination of data and functionality in a single unit is called encapsulation. In addition to encapsulation, object-oriented programming is characterized by inheritance and polymorphism. Inheritance means that objects derive functionality from other objects. Objects can modify their inherited behavior. Polymorphism means that different objects derived from the same ancestor support the same method and property interfaces, which often can be called interchangeably. So let's make an example. So we will create a new project. It's a visual forms application, and if we create a new project, the ID displays a new form for you to customize. In the code editor that automatically generated unit declares a new class type for the form and includes the code that creates a new form instance. The generated code for a new Windows application looks like this. So the new class type is form1, tform1, and it's derived from tform, this one, which is also a class. A class is like a record in that they both contain data fields, but a class also contains methods, code that acts on the object's data. So far, tform1 appears to contain no fields or methods because you haven't added any components uh, to the form and you haven't created any event handlers. Tform1 does contain inherited fields and methods even though you don't see them in the type declaration. This variable declaration, a variable named form1 of the new type tform1. Form1 represents an instance or object of the class type tform1, and you can declare more than one instance of a class type. You might want to do this, for example, to create multiple child windows in multiple document interfaces or MDI application. Each instance maintains its own data, but all instances use the same code to execute methods. Also, you haven't added any components to the form or written any code. You already have a complete GUI, graphical user interface application that you can compile and run. All it does is display a blank form. Suppose you add a button component to this form and write on-click event handler that changes the color of the form when the user clicks the button. The result might look like this. So standard and a button, drag this and drag it. So change it, click me, change it caption property, click me, and the events tab we can create on-click event. So it is our button one click procedure from this publish it section. So when the user clicks the button, the form's color changes to green. So we need to write some amount of code. So form one dot, there's a color property equals color, that is properties constants like black, blue, cream, gray, and other. So green, and that's all. Objects can contain other objects as data fields. Each time you place a component on the form, a new field appears in the forms type declarations. This forms type declarations unit section. If you create the application described above and look at the code in the code editor, so you can see this one. And T-form1 has a button one field uh, that corresponds to the button you added to the form. The button is a class type, so button1 refers to an object. All the event handlers you write using the ID are methods of the form object. Each time you create an event handler, a method is declared in the form object type. The tform1 type now contains a new method. A new method is button1click. So this is procedure. This procedure declared in the tform1 type declaration. The code that implements the button1click method appears in the implementation part of the unit. This is an implementation section. So save this project and run. So we have saved it and run with debugging, and there's a form and one button. Click me, and I clicked. The form color is changed to green color. Changing the name of a component. You should always use the object inspector to change the name of a component. For example, so there's design, clicked form1 from structure, and select object inspector properties, and we have name property. We can change it other name. So for example, color window, and enter. So there's some note that code in the onClick event handler for the button hasn't changed. This is not changed, but this is changed. Because you wrote the code, you have to update it yourself and correct any references to the form. So we need to change it form1 to color window. So copy and paste, so and save, and it works fine. And compile. This program works. So Thank you for watching this tutorial. In next tutorials, we will learn more about objects, inheriting data, scope, and qualifiers, and etc.